Greetings everyone. In this lecture we are going to continue our journey with exploitation of the Theoprix level 1, which is our lab 2. So we have already exploited Apache, and SSH was probably not exploitable. So right here in search exploit we didn't got any results. In Apache we successfully exploited that. We got the root access. Now it's time for Samba. So in nmap scan we got the net bias here, and that says it's a running port 139 Samba. So let's scan for that. Now sadly it was not able to detect the version of the Samba, right? And what we're gonna do now, so we don't have the version information about Samba, so what should we do now? In RPC binary we don't have any information. In such cases we can use some scanners. Now I am going to use the Metasploit framework here, and in this lecture I will show you how to exploit the Samba. If there is any vulnerability in Samba, we're gonna search how to exploit that using Metasploit console. So just enter SU and get the root privileges. Okay, now Metasploit framework, so MSF console. Just press enter. It'll take some time because we have not configured the database and all for the Metasploit, so that's really fine. Okay, it's starting the Metasploit console now. Now in exams like the OSCP, so they don't allow you to use Metasploit framework because they want you to do everything manually. So they don't want you to use this Metasploit framework and go with the pre-built codes of them, right? It's just a piece of cake to hack anything using Metasploit, and that's why they don't want it to use you, right? In this case, we are going to use it, but in exam you might want to use the manual public payloads, and that's your task. So I'll show you how to exploit this with Metasploit, and your task is to exploit this using public payloads, and I'm sure they are available. Just like we exploited Apache, you have to do it with the Samba, and that's your task. If you cannot do that, please raise a question or please let me know. I'll help you out, because that's really important. You need to exploit the Samba using public exploit. It's your test. Let's search for the Samba. So let's search for the SMB enumeration tools. Okay. Now it says that the database cache has not been built, so it's going to use the slow search. That's fine. So we want to enumerate the SMB, and we want to know what is the version of Samba it is running. And there are other scanners as well available which can do this work. Like in exam you are not allowed to use Metasploit, so you can use those other scanners. NM4Linux is one of those, but it didn't work in our case, and maybe that didn't work because we are using a virtual machine. But it generally works in the real life. That's fine. And that's gonna throw a lot of information in front of us. Okay, here we have everything related to SMB. We want to search for some kind of scanner. Okay, these are exploit, payload, post exploitation. Go up, you will find some scanners as well. Java applets, exploit, auxiliaries, scanners, Samba, and this is a specific vulnerability, not this one. Let's see something else. Yeah, so let's go ahead and say use it's a auxiliary AUX, and I just pressed tab key to autocomplete. So auxiliary, and what it was, we're gonna use the auxiliary. That's gonna be a scanner, right? That's gonna be a scanner, and that's gonna be SMB. Now if you just press double tab, you will see all the SMBs, and here is the one which we are interested in, SMB version detection. Now we can even do your SMB login detection, SMB users detection. There is everything in the Metasploit, but we're gonna do the SMB version detection. SMB version detection. Okay, that's fine, we're gonna use it. And now you see info, so it'll show the information. So here's the information. It is SMB version detection. This is the module name, license, rank, the author of the module, and these are the options. So we have to set our host, we have to set threads, and these are not required. And let's do show options here. One second, show options. That's gonna give the same information probably. Yeah, you see it's gonna giving us the same information. So let's set the our host, and let's set the our host, which is the target. So our target is, we have right here 192.168.252.131. okay, 192.168.252.131. that's great, right? So that's all. You can set the number of threads, let's say 10, 20, 30, how many number of threads you want to run, but I think that default will be fine, you know, not giving a lot of load on the server. Maybe it will just crash. Let's just leave it default. And now you can just say run, or you can just say exploit. That's fine. Before that, I'm gonna take a screenshot here. Oh, sorry, I'm writing in SSH. Here is what I want to write. Okay. Version detection using Metasploit, and I'm gonna go ahead and say screenshot. I wanna take the whole screenshot here. Right, this is what I am doing, right? Okay, this is what I'm doing. So let's just go ahead and exploit this up, right? So I'm just gonna type in exploit. Just press enter and wait for the magic to happen. Okay, here we have the information. Host identified Samba 2.2.10. Great. Let's take a screenshot of this as well. Oops, I just took that screenshot. And we have got this screenshot here. Great. So now that we know that we have Samba version 2.2.1a installed, let's open another terminal. Let's zoom in. And let's use Searchsploit to search for any anything we can get. Search. Okay. Oh, I forgot a R there. Yeah, it works. Okay. Searchsploit, and then Samba, and 2.2, and I think there was 2.2.1, right? 2.2.1.a. Okay. 2.2.1 .1a, right? 2.2.1a. Yeah. Let's go ahead and search for this, and let's keep S as capital if possible. Okay, it says no result found. What if we search only for Samba? Because again, think about it, there is a possibility like this: 5.x, 6.x, 6.1. So we can get 2 point something and 2 point something here as well. Okay. Here is one which you guys may be interested in: 2.2.8. Anything that is less than 2.2.8, try this exploit, right? Try this exploit. 2.2. Yeah, 2. That's fine. We want to search for something else. Let's see if we have something here. Oh, there is the list is long, right? Okay, 2.1, 2.2, 2 point this. That seems pretty easy. Now there is these all right, 2.2.2 to 2.2.6. This one is the one which I would like to try. The Trans2Open right here. This one is which I can try. And if you just see, there is written RB. So these are C exploit, SS exploit, TXT. These are RB. RB means that these are Ruby scripts. You can use them manually, so you can use them, but you can even use them in Metasploit. Because these are RB, this means you can use them in Metasploit as well, right? Now this one you can just see right here is for OS X, but we are running a Red Hat distro as we got through SSH enumeration. That's how we're gonna search for Trans2Open. Maybe somewhere Linux or something else. It says that okay, this version, the one we are using, has Trans2Open vulnerability, right? So let's use Metasploit again and search for that. Okay, let's say search Trans2Open. Oh, I said OPEM. That's gonna give no results. I just press M, Control C, sorry. Okay, search Trans2Open. So this is how you use Metasploit, right? With Searchploit. You combine both of these like this. I hope we get some results. Now, as I said, you have a homework which is to exploit this vulnerability, the Samba version, with the manual, so with manual mode. For that, I would again say you can try these as it says Trans2Open, 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 which are in 2.2.x, so maybe they will work for you. These are C exploits, so make sure you run them with GCC. There is this one, remote overflow. So I think it's remote buffer overflow. This is a Metasploit script, but you can use that through Ruby directly as well. So just try all of them, right? Now it says, okay, it has got FreeBSD, Linux, OS X, Solaris. I want the Linux one. Rank right here is great. It means it will just get the payload with a higher chance. So great is a very good rank, and it says it's a overflow. It was disclosed in 2003, a very old exploit. Let's try this. So I'm just say copy, and I will say use exploit this. Now it will change the scanner to exploit. So exploit is this thing. It means this particular module, this will take advantage of a vulnerability, but it will take the advantage of the vulnerability, but what will it do? You know, what is the benefit of taking advantage of the vulnerability? What exactly we're going to do? We are going to upload a shell, and we are going to get a back connection to us, right? How do we get that? We need to upload a payload. So exploit will take advantage of the vulnerability and help our payload to get into that machine. So we need a payload. I'm going to set a payload, and there are quite a few payloads. Like there are a lot basically. You can use any one, but I like the Metasploit. I'm going to say set payload Linux Metasploit. Okay, just stop responding here. Metasploit. And then I will use the reverse TCP. Payload, that's in. I'm gonna delete this all actually. And when you say a double tap, Linux x86, and here are all the payloads. So I would like to use the Metasploit, and I like the reverse TCP load, so that's the one which I would go for. Just copy this, just press Q here and just paste it here. Just press enter, and now whenever you set a payload, just do a show options. So the option says that you have to set a local port and a local host. It's also called as listening port and listening host. This will be on our machine, and then the remote host and the remote port. Okay, this is gonna be the target machine. Remote port is already set to 139, which is the default port. But let's say in your file right here, let's say you get that the Samba is not running on 139, it's running on something else. You can change that right here. Okay, I'm gonna minimize it. Let's try this. So set our host to 192.168.252.131. That's our IP address. Now we need to set the local host. Set L host. That's gonna be 192.168.252.130. Make sure you enter your IP address here, and I remember my IP address is 130. Let's confirm that right here. I'm just gonna say ifconfig. You see our IP address is 130, right? And the port I'm gonna give it, it can be any port, so let's leave the 4444 open like the default one. If you just do show options again, you see everything is set now. Let's do a exploit, and let's wait for it. And now it's trying the overflow. Okay, now here is a problem. You see, Metasploit is able to open a session. It says session open, and then it just closed because it died. So the session here is dying. Okay, what's the problem? In such a cases, either your exploit is not going to work, or you want to send a, I'm just pressing Control C just to stop it, or you want to perform the attack using a non-staged payload. Let me show you right here. If we just say right here, we were searching for the payload. When we just search for the payload, okay, the payloads that have, let's say x86 is the platform, after that Metasploit is a payload, and then that has this slash here. It means it is a staged payload. It means it will send the payload to the machine in different stages. So it will send the payload, it will then send the communication channel, then it will send the stager. So it's gonna take multiple stages. Sometimes this fails. So you should know in exploitation, when you're doing this sometimes fails. And in such a cases, try to send a non-staged payload. Like this one, this is, you see there is no slash here, right? This is a non-staged payload. Now, you can always try with a generic payload, right? So generic, right, say Control C here. I'm gonna use a generic payload here. Instead of Metasploit, let's use generic. Okay, I think there is no generic payload in this case. Is there any Metasploit one which is no? There is no Metasploit that is non-staged in this one. That's fine. Let's try something else. Shell payload. So is there any shell that is, you see here we have the shell. So this is the staged one, this is the non-staged one. You see, these are non-staged. And let's try this one. Okay, and let's just try this. It'll again say we'll again say show options. So majority of, actually all the options are already filled because we already set these. Let's try this now. Exploit. Maybe this will work, or maybe it will not work. Okay, it worked. You see, command session shell session 5 opened. This means it worked because this was a non-staged payload, and that's a thing. Always remember, whenever your staged payload is failing, it's dying, use a non-staged payload. If I just do ID, I am root. You see, root. I can just say pwd, and I am in the temp directory. I can say ifconfig, and sorry, ifconfig doesn't work. Okay, I think I can say help, and it's show me everything I can do right here. Yep. So this is the root. You can do anything here. You can basically do anything, basically. Yeah, so you can just say move to home folder. You can do ls. You see there are those two users which we exploited and we found in the OpenSSL vulnerability. That is how you exploit the Samba Trans2Open using a non-staged payload with Metasploit. So this was through Metasploit framework. Your task is to exploit this vulnerability or this version of Samba. Don't exploit this vulnerability if you don't want, but exploit this version of Samba manually without using Metasploit. That's your task. And with this, I'll take the leave, and that's the end of lab 2. Thank you.